What's up, guys, and welcome to Built. Behind me, it's done. I don't want to show you yet because I want you to watch the video, but the spoiler is done. We spent 4 full episodes building a one-off, completely custom, triple-tiered RWB style, however you want to call it, spoiler, and we finish it in this video. I'm so stoked. I can't wait to show you. Check it out. Growing up, I always loved RPG and strategy games, building the best character or team to win and coming up with the best strategy to make me better than anybody else in the game. Well, now you can have that same experience on demand on your phone or PC with Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is the sponsor of today's video, and this is the second video that they've sponsored, and that's just because it's a great game and it's free to play. So when they asked me if I wanted to do another promotion, I said absolutely. If you're interested in checking Raid out, there's a link in the description below so that you can download the game for free and get a bunch of free bonuses we'll talk about in just a minute. This game has a ton of depth with 13 factions and over 500 playable characters, and today we're going to focus on one of those factions, the High Elves. Now, High Elves are your classic good guys. Like when you think of the good guys, it's the High Elves. They look like good guys, they act like good guys most of the time. While the elves are beautiful and powerful in the ways of old magic, we meet them in a time of civil war within the League, and Queen Eva's current allegiance may not be all that it seems, but to find out, you need to go check out the campaign of this game. So I mentioned in my last promotion that I love going to the index and just looking at some of the legendary heroes and the designs. I think they're really, really great. For now, here's some of my favorite High Elven champions from the game. What I like about the game is it's all built around strategy. There's entire Reddit threads about this game and YouTubers who built their entire YouTube channel around this game and strategies for different parts of the game, whether it's clan boss or dungeons or campaign or arena or the brand new Doom Tower. There are different strategies for every single part of this game. Speaking of the Doom Tower, it's the biggest update that Raid has ever done. 120 floors, secret challenge rooms, 12 really difficult bosses. I mean, it is a huge, huge update. And on top of that, they just added more champions. There's brand new champions, so if you haven't been in Raid in a while, go check out the new guys that just dropped. If you're a new player, you can click the link below and you can get 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, 1 clan boss key, 5 mystery shards, 1 day XP booster, and 1 free champion executioner. Now, executioner is a huge champion to have in the beginning of the game. This only lasts for 30 days and it's only for new players, but if you haven't played Raid, this is going to help you out a lot. All of this is going to be waiting for you right here in your inbox. Huge thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the channel once again. They are the reason we're able to build all of this really awesome and ridiculous and somewhat controversial stuff on the channel. And companies and games like Raid that sponsor Built are what make this content possible and what make it free. So I'm super thankful to have them as a supporter of Built. Let's get back to the video. Right, so I am very proud of this actually. This came out really cool. I've never used MDF for this purpose yet, and I'm really happy with it, honestly. I think for the kind of stuff I do, when I've got to make flat stuff, it'll be great. I wish I had a CNC machine because we could make really cool stuff out of this. Anyway, this is our wing stand. Now, what I did with the router was make these cutouts. So you guys can see this now. This is the shape of our wing, and one on this side as well, right there. I smoothed this out, sanded that down with some sandpaper, so that is a really nice flat surface now. And then we also rounded the corners. Now, the reason I did this on both sides is because I'm going to use this one mold to produce both molds for both wing stands. So this side will be the passenger side, and then this side will be the driver's side. That way I know they are exactly the same cutout. I had these two really close, this one and the other one that I cut for last video, and They were close, but they weren't exact, and this way I know they're the exact same shape. I used that template to transfer this shape over, so I know they'll be in the exact same place, and I'm just kind of hoping that it's going to work out. I think it is. Now, the next thing that I have to kind of worry about is, can I pull 2 molds off of this one piece without wrecking it? MDF is versatile, but not the most durable thing in the world. I would love to seal this off with some 2-part epoxy, but I don't have any left. And I'm not sure that it's completely necessary. It's time-consuming for sure. So we're going to try to just pull a mold straight from this. I'm going to be very liberal with my wax and PVA application to really try to create a barrier on top of this wood that'll keep it from pulling away. Really, the only part that I need to save is this edge because I'm going to be using this edge in both molds. Time to start waxing and PVAing. So, with that, we have 2 wing stands. These look really good. I'm pretty happy with them, considering how quick I made the actual stand itself and it being MDF and stuff. These came out pretty great. So now what I've got to do is clean them up just a bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and just go around with a cutoff wheel and cut off some of this excess fiberglass so we don't run the risk of bonding to it at all. And we'll clean up the inside a little bit as well. Wash it down, get the PVA out, and then we will be making our parts. Rinse and repeat. One of the problems that I've been trying to solve is how do you basically run a screw into fiberglass without it putting too much stress on the fiberglass. Fiberglass is really strong if you've got a lot of surface area, but on just a very small piece, a little bit of torque, and you can really break it pretty easy. So there's a couple ways you could handle that, I guess. You could laminate some metal or some sort of bracketry into it to spread the surface area out like a washer. I didn't do that because I didn't build this spoiler deck, so I've got to come up with a different solution, and this is the one that I came up with. This is called a toggle bolt, and they're used for like mounting stuff in drywall. There it goes. What it does is it has this little flange that folds out, and when you screw it in, the flange pulls itself into the wall. Well, in this case, what we're going to do is put it into our spoiler. When we tighten it down, this flange is going to pull itself into the spoiler, clamping this to the spoiler and giving us a lot more surface area. I think it's going to work, but this is heavily experimental, so we'll see. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is just put down a little bit right there and bolt in. Now I did notice these, try to get this started. There we go. Just like that. see these circles are my mounting holes, and I made these little brackets. They're gonna go right back here like this, and that's just going to disperse the weight. So as any sort of weight comes against the spoiler itself, it'll pull this whole bracket instead of pulling on one given spot. You can also see the spoiler's thin right here, and I've got a crack from me kind of test mounting all this stuff to make sure it was gonna work, so we'll have to fix that. But that's okay, because we've got to glass this thing in. What happened with this, you guys might have seen it fall off just a minute ago. What happened is I epoxied it in just to kind of tack it in. I meant to go back and fiberglass it, and I forgot. And I was actually looking at that and figuring out how I was gonna fiberglass it when the epoxy popped loose. So we'll have to do that as well. We'll do that tonight, so it'll be dry tomorrow. Well, as smart as that may have seemed, the metal plate idea is not gonna work. There's just not enough space back there, so I'm just gonna go for it with the bolts and hope that all goes well. Okay, now this is mounted. That looks pretty good. So there is the spoiler. Obviously it's not on the car yet, and that's because right here. So if you look, they're not even. Now this didn't happen on the car when I tested everything, but I guess bolting everything down and getting it all under tension, there's a little bit that's askew. All right, so my common practice is if I run into a situation I don't really understand, I go to bed and I think about it and then come back the next day, and I figured out why this, you guys even, yeah, you can see me. I figured out why this is askew. I redid this last night, and these things are even. They're as even as they're gonna be. I really don't think that that's the issue. I think the issue is there's a lot of torque on this, so you've got these parts that are kind of bent to conform to the wing. These stands that we made, they bend outwards at the bottom to conform to the wing. So there's some torque there, and then these wings are like pressed in. You guys saw me install these. They're like a press fit. So there's torque there pushing out this way. So you've got twisting this way, you've got twisting this way for both of these, the bottom more than the top. And with all of that twisting, it just kind of goes whatever direction has the least resistance. Well, with fiberglass specifically, if it's not super even, like in terms of the thickness, you're gonna get flex in certain places and not in others. In our case, this side is thinner than this side. So where the wing actually mounts, the left side is thinner. Now on a normal wing that wouldn't make a difference, but because we've got so much twisting on this wing, it's making a difference. Now I did notice when I was doing some research about these wings, there's only a few of these that have been made. They're all on RWB cars or like, you know, similar. And almost all of them, you see some pictures of them without this, but almost all of them now have kind of an X cross brace in them, at least one. And I think that that is to fix this problem. So if we connect, like say the top of this wing down to the bottom and then pull it in, that's gonna allow us to take that tweak out. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna make a cross brace. We could make it out of cable or out of threaded rod. So I'm gonna see what I can do. If I can get it to work out of cable, cable will be lighter. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get it as accurate as I want. With a threaded rod, we could literally just thread it in until everything is straight and perfect, and then just keep it there. So I've got to figure that out. I've got to figure out where to get threaded rod. And when I mean that is like, basically I'll be building a really big version of a splitter rod. So if you're familiar with splitter rods, I'll throw a picture up right here. I need to build a long version of that. It's probably like 3 feet long, 2 of them I think. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do, which means that we're ready to put this back on the car. Now obviously we don't have our angle set yet. I'm gonna do that on the car. That's gonna help me kind of visualize everything. But before we put it on the car, I'm gonna hit it with some black spray paint. We are gonna go back over this whole thing in bodywork. So when we go to like finalize the car's bodywork, I'm gonna break it into sections, front and then like middle, I think, and then rear, or maybe just front half and then rear half. And so when we do that, I'm gonna tackle the finalizing of the bodywork on this whole monstrosity. So for now, I'm just gonna hit it in black so it all looks uniform and awesome, and we can throw it back on the car. There we go. That's how I need to carry it. Okay. Lift up. So we've got an issue, and I think you guys can see it from your angle. So you look, the wings real flat, real flat, real flat, and right here, it raises up. Now that's obviously an issue because when you're looking at the wing from the back, it makes this side look like, it makes it look like it's crooked. I don't think this is actually crooked. 3/4, so 1/16 off from here to here in terms of distance from this wing. That's straight. But then when you come over here, 11 3/8. You're talking about, what is that? 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch higher, which doesn't seem like a lot, but your eyes can see that. That's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, so I just looked, this whole wing deck about right here sweeps upwards. I just don't think it's gonna work. When some of you guys picked up on this on Instagram, I didn't have this thing, I posted a picture of this sort of on Instagram the other day, and I didn't have it mounted, but a lot of you guys saw it. Okay, so right here, we're looking pretty good. It looks pretty level. Right there, still looks pretty level. But then look what happens when you get down to right here. All right, now you see it, right? So look over here on the right side of the camera. You see how high that looks? That's the warped part of the wing. The rest of the wing is pretty flat. But as soon as you get to that left side, it's warped. So we've got a couple of options. One of them would be to try to like flex it down and then run the screw in. I don't really like that idea, just because this is not a weak, like these wings are really strong, so I'm not sure how it got warped. It may have been in shipping or whatever. It happens sometimes. The other option is to get a different deck made out of a different material like aluminum. I think that would be cool anyway. So maybe that's the case. For now, I'm gonna leave this like it is. We're gonna check level to make sure everything is actually good, and then we'll kind of place our second set of screws. But I'm gonna leave the warped deck in there for now. I know it might bother some of you guys, but I've got to figure out what I want to do and how I want to solve that problem. Not a big problem considering all of the work that went into making this wing a thing. That's the least of my worries, so we can figure that out. Oh man, this is just... I know so many of you guys just do not like this at all, but good night. It is my favorite part of the build. How awesome, man. God, so cool. Alright, so I've got I just set this based on like how I just did it. But This one I'm going to match the angle. So I'm gonna go see if I can pry. My son is trying not to go to sleep and he's using my phone right now. So I'm gonna go try to get the phone from him and see if I can use, that's what I use as a level typically. It's pretty accurate. Hey Booger.
No, why you have that camera, Daddy?
Can I use my phone? Huh? So you cannot have it. All right, I'm gonna wait for him to go to sleep and then I'll get the phone from him and we can finish. Whoa, no way. 2.2. All right, the sun's going down a little bit. It's the perfect time for the reveal of the spoiler, the kit, the full kind of thing, minus the front bumper. Check this thing out. It looks insane. But wait, before we get to that, I want to show you a picture of the rendering we did, and then you can compare it to where we are as of today. Let's go. I get it, I know, this is the most polarizing thing I've ever built on this channel. But this channel exists for one reason, that's for me to build really cool stuff that I want to build and to take you guys along with me, and this is what I wanted to build, and I'm so glad I did. I'm having a hard time looking at the lens, I'm looking at the spoiler and the monitor, and it just looks so insane, and just with the rest of the car, it's really, really coming together to be something incredible. So I'm so stoked on how this looks. I love it, I love it, I love it. If I haven't said it yet, I love it. It is so tall, so if you look, the car comes up to like my rib cage about right here. The spoiler comes up to like my nose. So we got a solid height on the car itself, which is just awesome. And it just, I mean, I don't know. It's just so crazy and so good. And I think the thing that I like is, other than in pictures that I've seen of like Nakai's car and the few other guys that have run this style spoiler, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And that's what I'm about. This thing is awesome. Okay. Enough talking about that, you guys can just look at it. I'll stand over here. This car is getting very close in terms of fabrication. So we've got a few more things to make. You guys have been asking me about the rear bumper. I'm not decided on the rear bumper yet, so I do have a solution for that until I decide what I want to do. But I have two ideas that I've narrowed it down to, and I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go. And they're both cool, they both look good. It's just a matter of which one is going to be faster, because at this point I've made the things that I really wanted to make. Now it's just time to tie it all together and finish things off. So if all of that is on hold, the bumper we're doing a temporary fix for that, and the side skirts are on hold. Well, what is next? I'm so glad that you asked. We're going to lift the rear up just a little bit so it can drive with the kit. So we'll get some driving footage with the kit, I guess next week. I'll have my cameraman back next week. I do have a guy that's been filming for me. Shout out to Luke. And we'll do some driving footage of that. And then I'm going to start the body working process. Now, during all of this, I've been working on a project behind the scenes. And it's pretty close to being done. I drove it today and it drove awesome. And so that video is going to be coming out soon. So one weekend we will skip an MGB video and show that video, and that's going to allow me to kind of get caught up on bodywork and stuff, because it's just going to be a lot of sanding and it's not going to be super fun to watch. Man, it's just so crazy. It doesn't even look, I mean, I'm standing here by it, it doesn't even look like a real car, and I bet driving down the road it's going to look even crazier. Okay, that was a long saga, a long journey to build this spoiler, way harder than I expected. It turned out way better than I thought it would. And it's not finished, but it's finished. So it's fabricated, but it's not finished out. The bodywork and stuff I'll do while I'm bodyworking the rest of the car. I'll kind of be in that mode anyway, so I'm gonna save that for that. So as far as fabrication goes, we're done with it. And that's it. Very excited. If this closing was long, I'm sorry, I'll cut it down as much as I can. But another thing that I've been doing a terrible job at promoting is we have shirts on sale right now that say "Wide Body of the World." I'd be wearing one right now, but it's freezing cold outside. But they say wide body of the world. They have the Corolla, the A4, the MR2, and the MGB all lined up. It says wide body of the world under it. I'll throw a picture up right here. If you want one of those shirts, your last chance to get them is this weekend. I know, I've been doing a very bad job of promoting it. It is what it is. This weekend. As of now, it'll be the rarest shirt that Built's ever made because so few people have ordered them. So if you want one, go ahead and order them now because after Sunday, I don't think we'll make any more. So builtofficial.com to get your shirt. Okay, I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.